Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to Opus Magnum, live with light. Hey there, sugar. Welcome not back. Okay, we appear to be live everywhere. Finally, YouTube notifications on time. That's good. It finally did its job. Last time it was a day late. Was it also $1 short? It's always a shame when they show up and they didn't even bring the right change. You know, the saying, day late, $1 short. How do you not know the saying, a day late and $1 short? My goodness, what are they teaching the youth of America these days? So wasteful. Not knowing perfectly useful expressions for expressing things. What a waste. Okay, I don't know if you saw this last time, so you might not know any of the previous stuff. Yo, it's your boy Pod Guy! Bringing some awesome chat action with the newest, hottest floppy disk memes. Okay, you weren't here last time, so totally confused. Okay, so this game. Let's go to the tutorial puzzle. Here we are, tutorial puzzle. There's a little bit of plot. I just got out of alchemy college, and so they're showing me how to use automation to make things work. And so we open up one of my solutions. You are given reagents, which are your inputs, and your products, which are your outputs. Gender studies in alchemy college, it very well might have been, because I didn't learn how to do this actual engineering stuff, apparently. But you've got arms that move things along. You've got glyphs of bonding that attach things. You've got a glyph of calcification that turns it into salt. You've got tracks that move things around. You've got a multi-bonder. You've got an unbonder. And you've got equilibrium, which is just pretty. So we can just be like, glyph, 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 and now it looks nice. Need to install Mixer on this mobile cellular device. Their mobile app has been improving significantly recently, so it's not a bad idea. And so we can hit tab to step through our solution and see what it does. And so we have our nice little assembly line here where we take water and salt and make stabilized water. Now, these are not literal water and literal salt. They are marbles that represent what's happening at a tiny level. And it's all elemental, so it's not strictly water so much as some compound that has water-like properties. And if we hit continue editing, it just shows it really fast. Now, well, that's the thing. It's not entirely clear if it is actually salt water, because the properties of salt might not be so straightforward. Because that was actually more likely hydrogen peroxide. Because later on, we develop a hangover cure, which, oddly enough, is just water. And so this right here is just water. So it's 2 salts and a water makes just water. So really, the water is oxygen, the salt is hydrogen, which you get by doing electrolysis on the water. Now, that's not exactly what happens, but it's kind of what's being symbolized. Or it's all just crazy. Orbital Coast, welcome back. How is that water being converted into salt? Alchemy? It's not magic. Ulrich! Welcome to the stream! We've got a friend from Frog's channel over here. Oh, and reminder to everybody, next week, due to Halloween and tickets and whatnot, the multiplayer stream is going to be happening on Monday, which means I'm not really going to be able to participate because I've got rehearsal at 9 and it starts at 8, and it's just a big old mess. But here we are. We've got all sorts of things. The video on my refined gold solution was posted on YouTube today, showing off my fancy schmancy prestidigitation thingy, which turns, well, lead into gold, and it's the easiest thing ever. Because all you have to do is add mercury to this glyph, which turns each metal into a slightly better metal, going from lead to tin to iron to copper to silver to gold. And this does it pretty darn quick. Yeah, it's alchemy. That's all you really need to say about it. So what really happens is you take a whole bunch of antimatter, toss it into a thing, fueling various nuclear-type processes to change the atomic nature of the metal. There's no platinum in this game, so likely there could be an expansion where you add even more mercury and make platinum. It'd be great. Loving this game. Ooh, alchemy. Gold is good, but not for construction. It's the lack of tarnish, the lack of corrosion that makes gold good. It's not objectively good in all cases. None of the metals are objectively good in all cases. But it has some very useful properties. And yes, the rarity did help quite a bit. Between the rarity and the lack of corrosion, it was great for symbolizing wealth. So, first stream, we did these various things. Okay, so the story so far. In the introduction, we just graduated from alchemy school. We did everything by hand. And so our buddy from school is teaching us how to automate it. And that's how we end up with this fancy machine for making stabilized water. Prior to this, our character would have done this by hand. Then, we get hired by old money in the city. These people are old money sorts of crazy people. Why is your buddy teaching me, not the teacher? That's a good question. The teachers were teaching the fundamentals of alchemy, not applied alchemy. It's kind of like going for a math degree and expecting to have all of that applied math as well. If you come out of it with just theory, that is a fairly standard math degree. And then, welcome to life in a great house. Old money, crazy people. Trying to tell you, Orbital Coast. Opus Magnum is its name, if you want to look it up on Steam. It's very new from Zachtronics. So first thing they want is for me to turn lead into gold, because alchemy game, of course. Then they want face powder for the woman of the manor, because her pallor is off-putting, and so she wants to look nice. And so our face powder goes a bit like this. Salt and earth, so powder. And so the goal is to do it as fast as possible, as cheaply as possible, or as compactly as possible. This is my as fast as possible solution. These generators only generate them every other cycle, so you can use that to at least guess how many cycles you're going to need to complete the products. Okay, then they've got boats that go across the sea, but they've forgotten how to make the stuff that makes them nice and waterproof, so I have to make a new fancy waterproof sealant. And it looks a little something like this. So we've got 2 airs and a water. These are old money people. They're stuck in their ways. Once upon a time, they had a water sealant, so now they want a water sealant. Then, the captain of the guard is always drunk. And so we need to come up with hangover cure, which we showed you, it's water. Their airship is also out of fuel. They are sending the heir to this family on a date. And he wants to take her up. Oh, have a good one. Orbital coast. If he's always drunk, doesn't make him sober by default. But he wants the airship to go on a date, but they're out of fuel, so I need to make airship fuel. Now this one's pretty fun. So here is a super small solution. Where you can build the whole thing in that tiny little space. Hey there, Pie Guy, you haven't missed much. I don't know if I didn't build a minimal cost one? Okay, so to see what this game is all about, let's make a minimal cost solution. So we've got one of these things, one regular arm. We need a binder. We need salt. Let's see. I'm thinking we could put the salt there. Oh, they changed the way this left-hand side works. And then we can put this here, because the ends are salty. And we don't care about the space. So down here, we give the instructions to the arm. What's the new glyph? It does literally nothing. Does it transmute any element into salt? It transmutes the 4 primary elements into salt. I haven't tested it on life or death or metal. So one of the 4, definitely. The other ones, not entirely certain. So we grab a thing. Let's see. Let's just move it over to and drop it, and then reset back to where we started. And then grab another one, move it, which will bond it, and we're going to move it one more to salt it. We're going to rotate it. We want it pointing straight out, so we're going to rotate it twice to the right. We're going to move it one further and reset. So that should leave us with this part right here solved. But that's not actually the way we want it. So we might want to avoid putting it there right at the get-go. So let's Let's see. Best way of going about this. Because we should, I believe, be able to build this just from this little thing here. With just an arm that doesn't extend. So the trick will be... Well, let's use this as a reference. So we need to be able to get it shaped like this, which is really quite easy. So we'll have this, we put it here, and then we swing it around. So yeah, we can put this guy here, put this guy here, and we should be fine. So we grab it, move it to the right, 2. Grab another one, push it, 1, 2, which will push that onto the salt. No need to rotate yet. And then we grab yet another, rotate, and now 3 are bound together. And then we rotate it to the left. So it goes from being like this to being like that. We need to take it 1 more such that when we rotate it again, it'll be facing like so. Life, death, metal, those are not elements. Bound, binded. Okay, so we've got it facing like that. Then we reset, grab yet another, move it into position. We need to rotate it 1 more time such that it's facing away from the salt. Rotate it through the salt. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to have to rotate it left twice. And then it should be done. So let's see whether or not it does what I say it's going to do. It's going to be real slow. But it's not here to be fast. It's here to be cheap. And there we go. When you use only the necessary pieces and a simple arm, you know that it's minimum cost. And then we let it run. It makes 6 products. And we have successfully made airship fuel as cheaply as possible. Now, given time is money, it's not really as cheap as possible, but that's a whole other issue. So now we see how we did. The area is huge because it went swinging around. The cost is minimal because now we've got the minimum cost, but the cyclage is almost 10 times as much as my best solution. Now, you don't have to minimize all 3 together because you can't. But having a solution of each type is what I strive for, and I imagine most people who play this will strive for that as well. So here, we've got it completed in an area of 10. And so if you use only the mandatory items and no extra space, it's got to be perfect. But here we use 1 empty hex. So it's probably as small as it's going to get. Probably. I don't see how you could not have an empty hex given the size of the thing that you're making. But I don't know. It's one of those things where you're like, could we do it? Could we move this closer, bind it out here somehow? Well, the problem is you can't use the arm to bind out here because you can't get your objects to 2 adjacent places with 1 arm. And if we try to add anything, well, it's not going to be minimal size anymore. So I'm fairly confident this is as small as you can compact it. And then the iteration that leads towards optimality. And so last stream, I had some fun with the sewing machine, which is a little hard to see given my inability to zoom. But we've got things up here that generate one, and things down here, and when it runs, it goes a bit like this. And so you've got this in charge of the top half, this in charge of the bottom half, and it just gets the job done, but it only uses 2 out of the 3 reagents, which leads you to believe it's not optimal. Like, there's nothing about this that is as good as possible. And so you then go, what can we do better? Now, this one, I don't... Oh, this one was just a different idea using 3 instead of 2. Which, it's okay, but now it's limited by this guy up here, because you have to pull from it twice for each one time you pull from the others. Hey there, Dragon! Enjoy catching up. And so whenever you've got an unbalanced load like that, you're pretty sure it's not optimal either. And so I was like, well, okay, let's try to take the sewing machine and make it better by using that third source. So we've got the sewing machine as before, plus a separate thing that is making it all on its own, which is significantly faster. And I love the way it sounds. I just love that. Unfortunately, it's a symbol of lack of optimization, but I still like it. Splitting wood. Oh no. Splitting logs. Splitting logs all day. Ooh, miss and hit the wedge. Ugh. Yeah, it would be fun if you had the liquids and the tubes and whatnot, and it's entirely possible that he will make that game eventually. So the game has also been rearranging my order of things, and it's just no good. Because Monarch came later. It was after Lockstep, where I modified, because this looks exactly the same as the other one, but I modified this bit to cut one out of the cycle length, and then it made it at least a bit shorter. Awful on Android? Maybe they're focusing on iOS. Weird. Debating whether to get this or not. I really enjoy it, but I love puzzle games. So here we are, Lockstep. It doesn't sound as nice, but it is significantly more efficient. Now, for real efficiency, you need to take into account the bottleneck, where you've got 3 of these and 4 of those. So you should be producing an output 3 out of every 4 cycles. Well, it's not exactly 3 out of every 4, but you've got 8 cycles because of the production rate of these, but you should have 3 outputs per 4 productions. And so to do that, you kind of need to take these guys and grab your 4th element or atom or whatever from each of the 3 sources. Okay, have a good one, sugar. Thanks for stopping by. Mixer doesn't even load on your phone. Weird. Well, but what I was saying is you need to be able to grab from each of the sources as your 4th item. And so this monstrosity does just that. This game actually has a workshop where you can build your own puzzles. And if you like what you make, puzzle-wise, you can send it out to people and have them try to solve it, where you set up the reagents and the products. I haven't actually worked with it yet, so I don't know what you can add or remove. Like, there are more glyphs than this. Like, there's the transmutation one, there's the triple bonding one. But yeah, you can define which reagents they get, which can be compound, and which products they need to produce. And then you can just have fun. We'll get to the 6 arms thing. 6 arm thing is fun. But this one, you've got the rails to make things move down the line quickly. And you've got these 2, well, these 3 out here for moving the atoms around to this as an entry point. So if you look, grab, move. So we've filled this 4th spot. 1, 2, 3. Then for the next several, it's going to be take these and move them forward. So grab, push. So all 3 of these move in sync forward towards the goal. While these are making their way to the 4th input. Grab, put, grab, put. And so now we've got asymptotic optimality. We are producing as much product as is possible. Like, as quickly as possible. Now, the 19 includes not just asymptotic optimality, but also local considerations regarding the path that it travels. Which I believe this is optimal, but I don't have proof. I also like the way this one sounds. But it's also huge and expensive. Look at all of these arms and tracks and shenanigans. So many things. Oh, and it's called Monarch because it looks like a butterfly. And so I decided to combine this idea with the other idea. And so on one side, we're producing it from one source. And on the other side, we're producing it from 2 sources. And so you still get the asymptotic optimality, and you only lose 1 cycle locally. And you get an even better dance beat. And so the thing that slows it down is that you can't construct this one between the 2 that you get over here. In the other one, it was wait, 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Here, it's wait, 1, 2, and. So you lose 1 locally, but asymptotically, it's fine. And I like it. Looks like a little personal fighter thingy. Falls off a space carrier type thing and is on its way. So that's the airship fuel. Then they need precision machine oil for their observatory to make sure things can move. This one, show you this guy. You transmute the lead into tin, attach some water in the middle, comes down the line and gets chucked in the bin. Again, really expensive. There are cheaper options that are likely better that don't use quite so many arms and tracks and whatnot. But, as always, the smallest and the cheapest use a single arm to get the job done. Now, since you've got so many inputs, it's highly doubtful that you can get this done with less than a piston. Like, trying to do this with a regular arm, it's hard to imagine it being possible. Because you can't bring an atom over an existing atom, and the moment you move it away, it respawns. So, I mean, there's not much to be done otherwise. So, one piston, no wasted space. It's probably as good as you're going to get. Then, somebody's feeling sickly, so we need to make a health tonic. So, super fast with a big arms thing. And, I mean, here, you're pulling the health, like the life, out as quickly as you were able. And the last thing just hits and gets dropped in. I don't see how to make this one any faster. And so we've got water with 2 healths attached to it. Hey, look, it's a health potion. Would I consider this game as steampunk? It's a little steampunk, but I haven't really seen any serious steam-driven tools. Like, I haven't actually seen their zeppelins. I haven't seen any automata. All we see are these arms that are symbolic of what they're doing. So it's really hard to tell. Here, we've got what I think is the cheapest and smallest solution, but it still uses some empty hexes, and it uses 2 pistons, so there's a chance that it's not optimal. But again, hard to imagine it being smaller or cheaper. And it is in the bottom bin of area. Ooh, not the bottom bin of cost, though. Do I have anything cheaper? No. So there is a better solution for cost on this one. I don't think I'm going to build that right now. Going to come back to it. Stamina potion. This one I've got the bottom bin on everything. And area is one of those ones that they're like, ooh, how do you do that? Well, like this. Having it come in here and get pushed up directly into it, use 6 empty hexes. I've thought long and hard about how you can make it use even fewer, and I haven't found a way yet. It could be possible. I just don't know how. Because you have to build it on this here. And the binding has to be adjacent or pushing outward. And given the shape of the thing, it's probably for the best that it's pointing out, but I haven't tested a lot of ideas with it along here. The biggest annoyance of this whole thing is just how many atoms you've got to work with and trying to move them around without running into everything. So once I beat the story mode, then I'll have access to the global leaderboards and I'll see whether or not anybody else has anything smaller or faster or cheaper. Then we've got my antlion solution. I love this solution. It looks awesome, but unfortunately, it's a little hard to see all of it at this zoom level. When I can play it full screen, it keeps the same size but uses up more of the screen. I don't think we have any actual zoom options. We just have resolution. Should probably look that up. But since this thing itself is so big, the solution kind of needs to be big. And yes, that is indeed what she said. And so this one, we grab a water, kick it off to the side, kick one off to the other side, and these arms rotate it into the middle here. Then we grab this iron, shove it into the middle, we bind it, and we chuck it in the bin. Now, there is a chance that this isn't optimal, but I've tried a lot of things with this, and this was the only one that actually worked at any sort of significant speed. Because moving something this big is very difficult, and trying to get these facing in opposite directions quickly is also problematic. But 32 cycles, it's pretty good. And it looks really nice when it's running. I like it. Okay, and that's when things start going poorly. Because this stamina potion was to help the air produce another. But then there's a declaration of war. So aggressive action has been taken by another house. Enter Chapter 2. Unprecedented actions. So some new money in town has decided they don't like the old money and they're going to take our land. Yes, there was an airship over here, but it's hard to see how it's actually built, like what it runs on. So they're invading. And normally in the past with the old money sort of folks, this is just a, oh, we squabble over a few blocks here and there. And that's the end of it. There's a little renegotiation of boundaries. Everything's fine. Well, they need the air to look good, so we make some hair gel. Like so. It took me a while to shave off that last frame, or last cycle. But it was all about grabbing early and moving down the line. Which is easily done when things are bonded or when you've got rails. Rails help you to do things pretty quickly. Now this is where we would have ended the last stream, and that's the end of what you would have seen from my previous material. Then we move on to the rocket propellant. So our rockets are really old, and the propellant has leaked out or evaporated or any number of things, and so we need to make more. So here we are with our good old rocket propellant. Super small, uses up the minimum amount of space. Also very slow, similar to airship fuel. There's an even cheaper version that doesn't even use a piston. It just uses the arm. But the real fun is here, where we get to use something resembling our sewing machine. But you'll notice there isn't anything that cuts it. And it's because we don't need anything to cut it. We're going to grab it and extract it before it gets bound at the end. So it grabs it, brings it in, brings it down the line, and then this rotates it over. Then this guy pushes it forward. Then it gets rotated again. Then we grab it here, push it onto the salt, and then drop it in the bin. The other one is doing something very similar down here, but slightly different such that they don't arrive at the exact same time. Et voila! We have something that generates rocket fuel really quite quickly. I'm not guaranteeing optimality on this one because there's an extra movement towards the salt that might not be necessary. It might be possible to do this sort of thing where we salt it before we do the last binding. So if you salt it before the last binding, you can grab it and throw it straight into the bin and not lose that extra cycle. So it's possible that we can shave a cycle off of this 35 and get it down to 34. Pretty sure that's as low as we would be able to make it, because it's just one tiny little cycle that could be shaved off, maybe. But there are a lot of logistics that go into it because you need to be able to produce a size 5 thing. See any good use of the atom divider? The unbinder? There are good uses for it, but usually you only want it when it's mandatory. And we will get to one where it is, in fact, mandatory. Okay, so that's the rocket propellant. Then some mist of incapacitation. You'll notice not a lot of iteration went into this one. This one's actually surprisingly easy. The wobble is for small, one arm. It's a piston. There's too many things to do it with a simple arm, so we're done. That's as cheap and as compact as you're going to make it. So this is basically a thing where you have a vial of it, you splash it into a room, and it makes that room uninhabitable. And so once people have breached the defenses, you toss this into some rooms to make a border between you and them to at least slow them down such that you can escape. It's a two-part thing: air and tin, air and mercury. And I found a very good solution pretty quick because I worked on this after I had discovered a lot of the things about how to be optimal. So it's got the tracks, it's got early grabs, and so it grabs the air, throws it down here, while pushing the Quicksilver to be the transmutation option. Now that we have tin, we can move it down to be bound, the Quicksilver to be bound, and the air to be bound. And then we move it once. It's already grabbed here on the air. It's already grabbed here on the track. So it takes just one cycle to move it to the exit, and then you drop it. We are producing everything as fast as possible. It is overlapping in nice cycles. And so there's nothing that's going to be gained time-wise on this one, locally or asymptotically. It's possible to save on space or money on this one and keep it relatively as fast. You'd likely lose a cycle here or there, but yeah. Yep, that's often a thing that you can try to do, but it's hard to make it optimal because you have to move things, and moving without doing one of the mandatory steps is usually how you lose cycles. Like here, every movement leads to a mandatory action. We'll get to one later where that was not the case. Oh, the dancing sloth. I love the dancing sloth. But the small and cheap one, hey, look. Ooh, we have a new thing. We have a multi-binder. And so here, instead of binding it once, you make it even more, I don't know if powerful is the right word for it, but more insane by triple bonding it. There's a red, a yellow, and a blue. And for some reason, we add a salt to it. Bond that in with the normal bond. And there we go. Now to do this quickly, let's say you've got rails involved. But I actually do it two different ways. One way on the bottom, one way on the top to get the timings right to get rid of that last cycle. And so let's watch the top. You'll notice I've got an around and about thing like we did on Monarch, because we need salt and we've got this production here. So we actually bring it up, over, and down. Arms are actually faster for long distances, whereas tracks are faster over the short haul. So we grab and we send the salt up and around. Then we grab down. So we get the first bind. Then we twist it to get the second bind. Then we start dragging it on the rails. We bind it to the salt. We drop it in the bin. Whereas down here, we grab the salt, move it, and then rotate it. So we grab it, move it, over, up, and rotate. Now the salt's in position. We got the fires. We rotate, and we drag, and then we flip, and we drag, and we drop. And the reason it's called Dancing Sloth is because it kind of looks like... Is his name Sid from Ice Age? Doing a weird little dance with his big old googly eyes. And I don't know if I like the sound of the triple bonding with that metallic bing, 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 bing. I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. So, explosive vial, in case you need self-protection and you don't care about the house anymore. And then Colvin is like, we're going to murder you. Say your prayers. And then the head of the guard is like, well, I guess I should go out and fight. And he's dressed like a conquistador wearing brass. I mean, you don't go out on the battlefield wearing brass. It doesn't look like bronze. And in an age with alchemy, bronze is gonna get you killed. And so here we are with a new mechanic, making something infinite. So our goal is to make iron, 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 ... And so if we scroll over this way, so it does end, but for any reasonable view, it just keeps going on and on. And so this was my first solution for cheap and small. It's certainly small, but it's actually not as cheap as you can get. It is, in fact, possible to make this with just a regular arm. So that's the piston. Now the regular arm, little Bill, does something that doesn't feel like he should be allowed to do it. So we make our iron, we move it back to be bound, we move the lead over, we rotate it out, turn it into iron, rotate it again, or pull it back over, and we're good to go. And so we pull the whole thing over. So as this goes, this is an infinite strand of iron we're making here. Well, indefinite in length. It's not really infinite because we can't just leave it running forever. But it'll make it as long as we want it, and it just keeps swinging that thing around. Apparently, these arms have infinite torque because this is going to get indefinitely long And it needs to keep swinging it at the same speed regardless of how long it is. We don't want this thing to just slowly grind to a halt. And there we are. Minimal cost. And then Never Learn was just me forgetting that you're supposed to, you know, use rails to make things fast. Now this is significantly quicker, and it just keeps pushing it out and pushing it out as fast as it's able. And the beautiful thing is that it can grab the iron while it's still tin and pull it away as it's being transmuted, which just saves you one cycle, but this is a game of saving one cycle, really. And yes, this area will just keep counting up as you make infinitely many things. It is how it goes. And, well, he's not feeling too brave at the moment, so we need to make him a courage potion. And so we've got a super cheap versus a super small thing. So cheap just uses a regular arm, swings it all about. Scooter makes it all super compact. And then suspension, pretty sure it's optimal. This is a fairly straightforward solution. And there's no extra movement. There's no extra ticks. Everything is produced as quickly as it's able. The suspension, dragging it across, has grabbed it before the other reagents even arrive, so it can start its movement as soon as possible. Oddly enough, this is mostly alcohol. That is part of the story, is that this is mostly just alcohol. Notice that it's fire water. So yeah, we made some fire water. He's feeling much better. But, unfortunately, they have been routed, and we must surrender. And so we need to turn the signal fire to green. Well, how do you do that? Well, you change it from iron to copper. Let's see. Do I have 35 is my small solution? Yeah, so I've got 35 that takes 61 cycles, but 160 Gs. And then 35 that costs 140 Gs. But Mariposa only takes 70 Gs, but it's very big. So let's look at the small one. So we get an input of iron surrounded by salt, which we have to unbind to get a salt out of the way to change it to copper, and then reattach it to make our product. So here's the unbinding thing that you were asking about. So we have to unbind, separate, do the thing, reattach, and then output. And there we are. A nice rooster-shaped thing. It is not space efficient. There's quite a few empty spaces. But it's about as efficient as I can make it. Because this is a very big thing to move around. Trying to do it without any bonus space? Oof. Yes, this is in fact a Zachtronics game. It's their newest. And so, yes, it uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 empty spaces and 5 arms. So another way to make this use less space would be to use fewer arms, but again, that would require having the functionality with fewer arms. But these things are so big, it's hard to reach. So that was as small an area as I've been able to make it. Mariposa has the smallest cost, with only mandatory elements. Because you're not going to make this happen with a non-piston arm. It's just not going to happen. If you can do it, I would love to see it. But I'm fairly certain you can't do it. Yeah, I never got to play any of the earlier Zachtronics games. I really should. I have a feeling I would really enjoy them. So, just one piston, another lovely butterfly, and we've got ourselves a nice low-cost solution. Which is a little uncommon, but not as uncommon as some of the others. I never played it, but watched a lot. Understandable. Now, this one, there's been a lot of iteration towards making this a worthwhile solution. Oddly enough, my first solution was actually pretty good. It's not asymptotically optimal, though. That you actually produce products slower than you are able to produce inputs. So this one is not asymptotically optimal, but it took me quite a while to get anything that had fewer cycles because of the local problems that you have with it. Because just trying to get it from where it is to the exit is an ordeal. Here, we're doing okay with just pulling one out, doing what needs to be done, and dumping it. But it's a long walk from here to there. And so I tried a couple of things. I think it was over the top that came next. Where we have it actually try to send one over the top to get asymptotic optimality. But it doesn't use any fewer cycles because you win before anything makes it over the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We win, and it's only over here. So we've gained asymptotic optimality, but we didn't gain any cycles. And then I was like, okay, what happens if we make it symmetrical? How about we send both of them up to the top? Such that both sides are actually producing solutions. And we get the same score again, because it's the same solution no matter where you send it. And so we've got the Quicksilver on both sides. We're using the same belt mechanics to produce them. We're just doing 2 in parallel. Oh, that reading manual is part of it. I believe it. So there's that. And I'm like, well, what can we do? What can we do? And so, pretty sure that this one came next. They shuffled around all of my solutions. So this one is a little crazy looking. It's more or less the same thing, but instead of taking it around the top, we bring it back around the bottom. So it started off by moving a Quicksilver over here, such that the timing is better. And then we do the same down the line thing, but then we bring it back around down here and drop it off. Which, unfortunately, saves 1 cycle. Just 1. Which is a shame. Which leads to Hot Dog, which is actually my best so far. Waste was an interesting thing to try, just so you can see the possibilities. So here's hot dog because of the shape of the solution. So we ship it over, we drag it up, and we drop it here. So that's belt again. But now we drag this one, and we actually use arms to make it travel faster to the exit. And all it does is make one that loops around the back. That gives you a chip, and the only manual you have for it is in Chinese. You're forced to figure out what it does through trial and error. Isn't that adorable? That is pretty adorable. Unless you can read Chinese. But yeah, only one makes it through the down and around loop. But that saves you from the length of the last cycle going along the belt. And so that's how we got from our 27 down to 25. And then waste up here was just me thinking, well, what would happen if we actually produced one that we didn't bother to use? And this one is mostly because it's pretty. I love having it just drag all of these around the 6-spoke thing. And so you get this snowflake sort of pattern. And what it's doing is it drags one over here to be a salt supplier. Because I couldn't get the salt from here down to here fast enough. So I was like, well, I could just grab one of these, steal its salts, and then just discard the extra salts from up here. Now, overall, this is a slow solution because of how slowly they move from the beginning to the end. It's a very slow run because they're not on rails. It's not got anything to speed it up like the other one did, which is a shame because it's really pretty. I like it. And then one that is almost identical. It saves 2 cycles. I just shifted this back one. Audrin, welcome to the stream. That is a very appropriate... Because this is a totally frivolous solution. Like, we're generating the solution to one of the other problems while we generate this. And a solution to a problem nobody has. So just imagine that this is attached to a splitter at the end and is coming out of one of these input things on some other thing that we're making. So, yeah. Oh, and cardioid is just hot dog, but instead of having it out here, it has it down here. Same number of cycles, but much more symmetric and balanced. And this is why we have this does nothing glyph, is just to see where things are going when you're designing it. Yeah, the asymptotic solutions really are more appropriate if you're going to be mass producing this. So generally, I want the asymptotic result regardless. Even though that's not something that's measured in the game, I do want it. Okay, so this is chapter 2 of 5. We did chapter 1 on stream, did chapter 2 off stream. Now we're going to work on chapter 3 now that we're an hour in. I was getting everybody catched up on the story, so they invaded. I'm now out of a job. So my license has been kind of destroyed. You know, symmetry is everything that matters. It really is. Wow, that's pretty far. Well, a lot of people already have the global leaderboards, which means they finished the story. But there's also tons of puzzles people have uploaded to the workshop that we can work on too. So I don't plan on running out of things to do in this game for quite some time. So I am a doctor of alchemy, Anateus Vaya, Haus van Tassen. Unfortunately, there is no Haus van Tassen anymore, so fat lot of good that's going to do. Aftermath. I wish we had gone back. It was clear there was no choice for us. I wish we could have, though. If at least Frederick had survived, there would be some small hope the Van Tassen line could continue. It's too late for that. We should be thinking about what to do next. There's nothing next. Don't you understand? Nobody will want to risk dealing with us. We'll live the rest of our miserable lives in hiding. Should have gone back and died with them. Concordia? Aren't you mad too? Mad? I don't know. Not sure we deserve anything else after how poorly I defended the house. My career as an alchemist is in ruins. What a worthless pursuit this has turned out to be. Maybe we better forget it all. Listen, Anateus, do what you want, but I know the only next step for me is revenge. I don't know yet how I'll achieve it, but that's the purpose of my life now. Is that another of the ways of the houses? Honor, treachery, swearing, revenge? No, it's about me wanting to put a dagger through the heart of those Colvin wretches. How could they be so heartless? Concordia? I'm going to step outside. I know it's dangerous, but I need to take a very long walk. Well, we're not certain where this is set, so it's not entirely clear if it's fun, like, in the Germany, Austrian type areas. So pronunciations are a bit questionable. And given the amount of Latin in this, it's more likely pronounced Juan. Anateus Waya. Anateus Waya. Anateus. I was just going to say, well, whatever it is we decide to do, we'll definitely need supplies for the transmutation engine first. I'll come with you. So Sigmar's Garden is the solitaire game. You match things, you get rid of them. I've won 15 times. Alcohol separation and a water purifier. Lovely. Before you ask, no, this gin is not because I'm taking things poorly. It's for alchemy. I wasn't about to ask. It's a rather brilliant scheme, actually. I'm going to isolate individual elements from the alcohol. It's essentially the reverse of the process I used earlier when... Anateus? Yes? Don't ever give up alchemy. Van Berlo's Wheel. By using Van Berlo's Wheel with the glyph of duplication, neutral salt can be turned into any of the 4 cardinal elements. It is typically only used if an alchemist cannot otherwise access one or more of the 4 cardinal elements. Van Berlo's Wheel is sometimes called the alchemist's last hope. Okay, so we need to make each. So we need to take our firewater, split it apart, Van Berlo it, chuck them in the bin. It's a very big thing. So let's think. We're going to need to pull this away quickly. The question becomes if we can then drag it down the line easily. Took forever to find a spot. You could skip ahead a little bit to switch to mixer. It's too interesting. You gotta catch all of it. Okay, so we're probably gonna want to split the fire last. We don't want to have it just length 1 because it won't be fully out of the way. And then we're just going to drag it. So we grab, we spin. So we'll be pointing the fire here, so the center will be here. Which means we're going to want to split it. Here. The elements we need are on opposite sides of the wheel. That's kind of handy, don't you think? Right, we need to place the exits or it's not going to work. So Earth will be up here somewhere. Air will be probably about here. Maybe further away because of the wheel. And then water and fire. How big is this engine they saved in all that chaos? I don't know. So we snap that off. We should actually probably move this way instead. Such that we can have a slicer here. That's not a slicer. Wish you could replace the glyphs like you can replace the other things. Okay, so slice. Plus, plus. Slice, slice, slice. And then we'll rotate the fire into here. We'll rotate this guy into here. Let's see. How much does that take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So length 6 should require 3 of them, I think. And we'll move those together. It's possible that they'll hit going this way. It's actually fairly probable. So let's put it like that. Oh, right. Let's get rid of these during initial testing. Number 1, you need to be turning to the left. Thanks. Okay, now this guy needs to get to the wheel. Oh, right. Guess we'll do it like this then. Should be good enough. Should call this machine Tramontina because it cuts very quickly. I'm not certain I know that reference. Okay. Now we need a wheel. Okay, we'll move it out a little bit. And we'll move it up a little bit. Okay. We'll rotate air down here. Okay. And then we grab our fancy new glyph of that direction, I think. Globe. And then put this here. We grab it. And we drop it. 3 to 5, grab, left, drop. Okay, and then we just need to do whatever up here. Earth. It's kind of annoying. Can you change any of the elements into any other? Given this, we actually could. Oh, that would be fun. Because we can salt the fire and the water to turn them into anything we want. Because this thing can turn anything into anything. And so we could salt the fire and turn it into air. Tramontina's a knife company. Interesting. Okay, so we've got a salt here. We need to get it to the wheel. Why is the wheel all the way over there? Reasons, because if I move it one this way, it'll hit it, right? Right. If I move it closer. Okay, that hits there. Yeah, because I think it would be better if we could do it here. Not sure if we can get away with it, though. Well. Oh, right, that's this output. Well, my concern right now is also optimality. Like, I don't want anything to be wasting time. And taking this all the way over here is just kind of annoying. I'm sure it's fine. Because we've got time. Because this part is going to take a while. And I have to get it out of the way as this is coming down. So I should probably do it like this. Can that even go a second time using that arm? Nope, didn't think so. Yep, pretty much. And I threw some vials of noxious stuff at them as I went. Okay, so we'll go up. Let's do this. Up, over. Come on now. Up, over to transmute, over to drop. Oh, that's gonna be too long of a track. So even with the rockets, everyone died? Yeah, they weren't very good rockets, I don't think. Okay, enjoy the sleep, pie guy. So this could go here. And then here and down. Yeah, that seems okay. So, who are you? 6. Grab, right, drop. Grab, right. Grab, right. Right. Drop. And we'll put a thing. Oh, right, we can't go that way. Curses. But we can go this way. Oh, right, 7, go back the other way. Whoa, what are you doing, number 1? Yeah, I don't have as much time as I thought. That takes way too long. Yeah, that takes way too long. Okay. There's no need for me to do that. I can just do this. Too early. Is there a faster way of getting that in? I would need a second track holding on to it, and that seems ill-advised. Okay. Now that that is fixed, we can do some different things with the rest of this. Okay, dragging this over. Right, we still need to have these on the board. Well, we can drag that in whichever direction we like. And then we can use one of these, because there's no reset on a double rotate on one of these. Okay, so that should happen, yeah, right about there. Yes, I know you're doing something stupid. Stop doing something stupid. Okay. Okay, so now we need to grab this guy, bring it, and drop it. Okay. Bringing it this way is likely to hit, but we're going to do it anyway. Just want to see. Oink. Kind of figured. So instead, we're going to drag it. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So you instead go 1, 2, 3, and drop. Okay. Then we just need to figure out the rest of the cycles and why 3 isn't doing anything, because it's the wheel. You go up top, wheel. Okay. So it's a 4 cycle and a... So we moved 2. It needs to move 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 12 cycle, 3 arms. At this point, it would be facing that way, and so would you. Offset by 4, and then we offset it by 4 again. And then we see how we want it to move. It needs to move at least 4 in the next 12. Or 4 in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want the last one to be a rotation. Let's do 2 moves and 2 moves. Let's see how well that works. So we'll get 2 pluses. Oh, that's not the right length. 4, 4, 4. Six, Ah, okay. Yes. So plus, 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 rotate. Move these two back to the beginning. Plus, 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 plus. Rotate. Wrong direction. Oh. 4 should be facing down. Because it rotates once and then again. So we do need to rotate back in each of these places. So 4... Wait, what? Oh, right. 4 should be behind. Okay. And so it rotates and drops. Brilliant. So 3 should rotate right. You know, it should be facing this way. It'll rotate. Yeah, so it rotates right twice to get up there. 1, 2 should be good. Okay. Now we just repeat this and that. And then we need to figure out how 7 does its job. So grab, push, push, drop. Okay. How far does it have left to go? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an 8 cycle, so you can just... well, 12 cycle, because that's 9. And then we add more of them. Probably like that. We'll see. And once again, we shift. And we shift. And shift. Positioning. Number 8 should be 3. 1, 2, 3. And 9 should be 2 shifts from completion. Completion, 1, 2. There we go. Oh, wow. We're probably 1 cycle too many. Okay, so... yeah, I'm not certain how, but I'm pretty sure we're 1 cycle short. Because I think everything should land with the red one. Can't cut 2 bonds. Well, no, you can't cut 2 bonds at once. Oh, yeah, it's taking too long to pull. Oh, yeah. It is pulling it at half the speed we need. I think. Let me check. Yeah, it's pulling at half the speed we need. Yeah, so we would need to build another one of these somehow. But this could be a lot like the flare, where trying to make it asymptotically optimal doesn't actually help. So yeah, we're pathwise almost optimal, but asymptotically we're about half of what we need to be. Okay, so this was a good first attempt. Definitely doing things the hard way, but oddly it's kind of fun. Good thing there's plenty of cheap alcohol to be found around here. Unfortunately, alcohol only gets us part of the way. We need base metals, too. Securing a large quantity of metal without raising questions will be far more difficult. I've come up with some kind of plan. I have some ideas. Okay. Rename this one. Is that how we spell guillotine? I don't know how to spell guillotine. It's close enough for me. For now. So let's start a new one. Now, to look at small. So we need a slicer. Question becomes, where do we want the slicer? Yeah, send one. Oh yeah, sending one way and getting whatever we need. But the trouble is then taking extra steps slows us down. Okay, so we can rotate it over here, slice it up. How far can we reach? We should be able to reach out here. Just discard half of each product? Yeah, that... No. No. Okay. And now we need places for the stuff. Is there any way to make this cover less area? Okay, now we only have one spare location. Okay. Now I think we have 0 spare locations. Except when we pull this in... Oh, we can leave it there and wait. Okay. Grab it. Oh, we'll start it on green. Pull it, which will slice. Drop it. Go to the right. Grab it. Go to the right. Push, turns it green. Pull. Right. Actually, we'll just do it in order. And drop. Left. Left. Grab it. Left, left. Grab it. Rotate it to slice the red. Drop to the right. Grab it. Green, blue, turquoise, red, and... Well, actually, no. Just do it in order. 1, 2, 3, and drop. Green, slice, slice, grab. Rotate it again to get the salt. Now we have the salt. We move to the right one. We need to rotate 3 times? 3 times. Wonder if you could alter the elements in the wheel? That would be interesting, but I don't see anything here that would really make that happen. What did we do? So we're here, we push, we pull, we go red. Blue, drop, red, green, slice. Should be a blue one. Grab it. Go 1 to the left. Reset. Reverse what glyph? Oops. We need to rotate that twice. Apparently, that time I went 1 too far. You want to see if I can dupe into the wheel? And again, I didn't rotate far enough. Oh, right, don't reset yet. We're not done with you. There we go. No unused space. Yeah, all sorts of things could be faster in this. I'm just trying for minimal space. And minimal cost. At the moment, we can always optimize it later. Okay, so you want me to test out this. Does nothing. What about the calcifier? Using it on the wheel. Whole lot of nothing. The wheel is just a source. You can spin it, but it can't. It doesn't seem to be able to be otherwise modified. What does that one look like? Kind of looks like Nessie. Except my duck. Okay. I just want to try something real quick. I just want to see... what sorts of things... because we could drag this over, drag it over. Split it up and turn it into fancy other things. Right, you have to have them all on the board. How does the unbinder react to the triple binder? I don't know. I haven't tried. I'm not sure I had the... well, I probably had it for that other one. Actually, let's save that for later. Let's continue on to the next puzzle. I want to see what the next one is with the water purifier. Is that a glass of water from the river? How'd you guess? The lovely gray color was the giveaway. You weren't going to drink it, were you? I'm going to need water for it to remain here for the time being. I know you've never been in this part of the city before, but really, look at that. Right, well, then I'll fix it. That is not what I expected. That is not what I expected at all. Oh, 7-2? Oh, this thing is so mean. Why do you do this to me, game? Hey, cool cat, welcome back. but drinking water has more salt. I guess. I don't... It's a weird place. Now, to get this one truly optimal, I think will be a miracle. So I think I'm going to try for just slightly suboptimal. Well, the trouble is that if we try to swing it in, it'll hit this. So we probably want to move this slightly away. We'll put in this one first. Trouble is I need to get one here. You're not supposed to bind these salts together. You can bind salts, just not for this puzzle. So we're going to move one here and swing it in. So that's going to be first. Is that going to cause a problem? Probably. Okay. So number 3 is first, so let's make it number 1. Grab it, push it, drop it. Number 2 and 4 should not be... Oh, we can't have 4 go at the same time as anybody. Well, that's annoying. Oh, right. Not 2, 4. Maybe it can go at the same time as 2. Or 3. Nope. And 2's going to be even worse. Don't know what this game is about. You're taking reagents and turning them into products. That's the game. You'll be back not so interested in the initial solutions. Okie dokes. What if the first thing is put 4 in the middle and then we spin it? Left, yeah. Wait. Wrong side. Okay. And then... that way. Okay. We'll have an extra one for the next one. In the meantime, we'll need this here-ish. Where do we add those? Because we'll be adding one here, here, and here, so we would need to add it to here in the loop. Actually, here. That's gonna be interesting. Thinking from here is where we need to take it, but unfortunately that means we can't get the product out. Because we'd hit it here. No. No. We would need to bind it here. And that's no good. So we'd have to bind it before and after. So here right now. And there. Ooh, that's interesting. So I need a place where I can get it both here and there without too much trouble, without getting in the way. Oh, there's my alarm. As always, we're going to play at least a little while longer. So now this is creating it rather quickly. Wait, what? Oh, right. It's not on the starting point. Oh, I added one way too early. Oh, it's this one, that one, and that one. So we need to wait. And then we would need to extricate it. But therein lies the rub. We can't get it out. And if we did, it would take 1, 2, 3 for the drop. Who's grabbing things and moving things? Oh, right. We need 4 to take over the job after that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just get rid of 4. Let it run at this speed. What? Oh, no! Needs to be 1 longer, so it doesn't get bonded in as it's going by. Oh, right, we didn't salt anything. Right. Salt. 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 And there we are. Not optimal cycles. It's actually kind of bad. So you get it now? Yeah, we're trying to optimize cycles or cost or area. This time we were kind of aiming for cycles, but... There. Care for a sip? Why doesn't the great alchemist sample his own work? Because I'm sure it's right. What a coincidence. I'm sure it's right, too. You're no fun at all. Well, here I go. Well, it's fine. Water. Slightly sour. Sour. Somewhat bitter, too. We'll have to do for now. I'm going to get back to work. Okay, so we're going to call this one Shifty. Because, well, that's what it does. It builds the thing, then it's shifty. But it's an all-right solution. It's not terrible. It'd be much better if I had a way of getting it out of there quickly, but with how many things are right there, it just can't make it happen. It'd also be interesting if we were able to convert the airs into anything but salt. But alas. And most likely the final solution will involve a track just pulling it down the line and salting it as you go. But not entirely certain. I also don't know how you would get some of the things to the sides. This one's okay for now. And what do we open up? The Thief. Nils Vittel. Do we have a deal? It's an intriguing proposal. But the old Van Dassen compound is far more difficult to get into now that Colvan occupies it. Their guards are far more vigilant. Believe me, we know. Concordia and I barely escaped with our lives. Just get me inside. I can take it from there. It's a little more complicated than that. The item we need isn't something you can carry on your person. It's a shipment. Specifically, a shipment of lead ore. I see. I'll supply you with a shipping order, but it needs a seal. You'll have to find a real order and take the seal from it. Okay. Then I suppose I'll impersonate a supply officer and simply take this shipment down the river to you. Exactly. That's somewhat more fanciful than I expected. On the contrary, it's as feasible as they come. Practically a walk in the park for someone of your caliber, right? Oh, and don't forget, we'll supply you with the best equipment you'll find anywhere. If I'm to make you this gold, I'll need the lead. It's how alchemy works, after all. Gold, yes. I do like a bit of gold. Pull this off and you'll have more than just a bit, I promise you. My goodness! Quite a few here. But I'm going to have to call it a night, because if I keep playing, I'm going to keep playing all night, and that's just no good for my sleep patterns. So I'm going to go through and look at each of these, show them to you, and then we can all think about potential solutions. I'm just going to look at this. I'm going to go through the plot later. Okay. Weird looking solvent. Gonna have to salt quite a bit of water. Just want to check something real quick. You cannot turn metal into salt. It has to be one of the primary elements. You missed a not particularly great solution to the water problem, and we're now working with a thief to get lead from the people who drove us out. So here's my not so great solution. It's pretty, gets the job done, and it's in the relative bottom, but not the bottom. But I'm going to call it a stream very soon. I was just going through the new puzzles to see what they're like. Salt, water, and tin. So bottleneck on the water here. Bam, 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 bam. Brilliant. Climbing rope fiber. Infinite salt and earth. Bam, 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 drag. Interesting. This one we might... This one looks really easy. Like... potentially too easy. So we need a binder there. Need a binder here. I know I said I wasn't going to solve them, but come on. Wait, what? Oh, it's not in the right place. Oh, it can't push it far enough. We're gonna have to use rails. Length 8 is usually good. Okay, and then this one releases there. Whoops, and that means it's too close. And then we grab... and then back 2 and back 2. They're not going to arrive that quickly, though. How long does it take to arrive? I mean, it takes a whole 8 to get here, so we don't even need this to be that quick. And we can grab it before it actually arrives. Okay, and now we add the salt, and we're good to go. Oh, but it's wrong. It's wrong. Because we need to grab this cycle as well. But we can't with something that small. Maybe. I don't know. Because it would need to be, like, here. So grab this, we copy it to here. And it just have one piston? Like here? Yeah, that could work, but that's not the problem. It's this not grabbing at the right time. Oh, like just to do that one push? That seems reasonable enough. And it grabs it here. Push, push, reset. Right, there's the problem. the cycle length is now different. Okay, now it should work. Whoa, what? Oh, right, because these need to be... slightly different. This belongs here. And this belongs here. Okay, and now they're not in the right places anymore. Okay, so 2 needs to be here, 3 needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4. But it can't do that yet, so we'll put this here. That should be fine. Okay, it's still freaking out. Ah, that's the problem. Sometimes they move 2, sometimes they move 1. So this solution is not as trivial as we initially expected. Alas, not trivial. Warming tonic. Fancy firewater. Yeah, that's not the problem. The problem is it needing to have 3 things that one of them does something slightly different. And so we need to redesign it such that it's always the right thing that is being done. Okay, so we've got nice matching inputs here, so we should be able to make something nice and super optimal out of this, except for the fact that it looks really annoying to construct. Life sensing potion. This one seems weird. See you, sugar. Glyph of Animismus. Transmutes 2 atoms of neutral salt into 1 of vitae and 1 of morse. Alstrak! Hello! We're actually going to be ending the stream! I'm just showing what's left, and this is how you make life and death, apparently. Not always regarded favorably by the university. Yeah, so much for that health potion that we had. So we've got these 3, whole bunch of salt, and a pair of those things. Fancy. That should be fun. And then very dark thread. That is a very dark thread. Irons on top, irons on bottom, salts in the middle. So this will be a weird thing to have to construct like this, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Because it'll end up having something maybe a little like that. Because trying to swing it all around, I don't know, seems inadvisable. Doing all right, Alstrak. We're just finishing up because we were supposed to be done 20 minutes ago, but I wanted to see what sorts of things we were going to need to build soon, but I do need to get going. Lots of interesting stuff. So, quick vote before we end. Anybody who is here to see various solutions, which one is your favorite? Out of all these various choices, which one is your favorite solution? If you were here to see it. If you weren't here to see it, you can pick something totally at random. I'll show it, and then we'll end. So this one's pretty fun. If you couldn't tell, I really like the ones that sound fun. So yeah, this little sewing machine type action down here. Really fun. Let's see. In chapter 2, there's the dancing... No, that's not it. The dancing sloth. Not that one. This one? Dancing sloth. Yeah, I don't know why he just didn't extract the water from the booze. Such a simple process. Except for the fact that you've then got fire left over. That's probably not a thing to just keep laying around. Okay, you want to know how the strong bond reacts to the unbinder. So we grab one of these, we grab one of these, we grab 3 of these. Such that the programming is simple. I grab one of these. Grab it, left it, drop it, grab it, right, 2, 3, 4, and see whether or not we can snip it off. Oh, yeah, that's good. Ah, there we go. It does break strong bonds. When am I getting back to Scrap Mechanic? Most likely when they release Survival Mode. Have they released Survival Mode? I imagine I would have heard about that. Yep, one shot. Bam. It is an unbinder, after all. And I suppose there is still science to be done in Scrap Mechanic. It's just some of it got really, really frustratingly inconsistent. I think it would be harder. I didn't expect it to be. I expected it to be either easy or impossible. It's usually how it goes in this game. Another year or so for survival. I know. That's how it goes. Yeah, and the friction is... If it were consistent and ridiculous, that would be fine. But it's the fact that it's inconsistent in its ridiculousness that does not make for good science. But I am going to call this stream here. We've learned some things about the bonds. We've done a couple of just basic solutions. I'll end up optimizing them off stream, most likely. I don't know if I'm going to keep playing this on stream or not. I mean, we do have Super Mario World to finish. We've got all sorts of games that need playing. But if people want this, then vote for it on the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, links down in the doobly-doo. Except on YouTube, then it's just in one of my videos. And we have the ubiquitous vote for Dark Souls. Oh, did you see that Hollow Knight now has a free Halloween DLC? Got some extra stuff in it, which caused my playing of it to be problematic because I was trying to 100% it, and suddenly there was more stuff. Real annoying when stuff just appears part of the way through playing the game. Which Fortnite? The buildy grindy part, or the get shot in the head from 5 miles away part? Granted, far fewer cheaters in the Battle Royale. Yeah, I did try it, but the weapons were just ridiculous. And the map is so small. But if people vote for it, I'd be happy to give it another shot. Yeah, it's 1/4 of the area. With just as many people. Yeah, I had seen the balances, and I played with some of the balance. And even then, it was like, I can't be accurate with the assault rifles. Like, even single-shotting the assault rifles, you can be aiming right at them and miss them completely. Yes, and I saw there was a Halloween event in the buildy type, so I might check that out. It's just a matter of when I'll have the time. Need to do a little bit of Halloween shopping this weekend for Tuesday night's festivities. Yeah, this one, it was really deceptive in what needed to be done. And so, most likely, we're going to need a little something like this. Error. 2 different directions. Who is not letting go? Ah, who is grabbing too soon? Ah, because it's moving. There we go. Ah, but we're a cycle off, I think. It's all right to join in late. I mean, the hours are weird and not particularly great for everybody. So this one is causing trouble. Ah, exploring. I do like the exploring. There we are. 87. Why is the climbing rope 3 atoms thick? Have a good one, all Struck. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to be getting offline here in just a moment anyway. This puzzle was just bugging me. It wasn't supposed to be difficult. It was just kind of annoying. And most likely we could shave another frame off of this. Because we don't need to grab it that late. But we probably need to move that late. Oh, no, we're good. So this should be 86. There we go. 86 instead of 87. Yeah. But they're also not actually infinite. Like, I want to see what happens when it gets over here. Oh, it just keeps going. Interesting. So, yes, they do have increasing power as things pile up on them. All the torque in the world. So now I can sleep well tonight, knowing that this problem is good and thoroughly solved. Still haven't seen me make arms go through each other. I actually did that by accident once. Yeah, but you're moving them with atoms too. So even generating a negligible torque with tiny things. So sure, you don't need a whole lot of torque. You just don't have much of anything to generate it with. Okay, so I know I would be able to make this happen with just a piston. The question becomes, can you make this happen with just a single arm? That would be pretty crazy. Can't sleep well. Must know. One arm solution. Probably only need to take it that far. No, get some sleep while you can! I think the biggest trick is going to be figuring out how to get it to reset in a way that we can work with. Actually, let's rotate it out. And then I think to the left. See you, sugar. Ooh, but now the salt is somewhere that I can't get to. Okay. I don't know where I'm going to be able to store the final product that this will work. Okay. So we'll rotate it to the left, 2, 3. But I can't start with the salt. Pretty sure I need to start with the Terra. Because we're going to have to attach this to the previous thread. One, two. Free to play format games. Yeah, they're a bit rough. Super grindy. Okay, where do we go from there? Drop it, left, grab it. Ooh. But it's now attached. So we need to actually rotate it to the left and then move it to the right. Just imagine it extending out to infinity this way. Right. Drop it. Move to the left and grab it. Then rotate it to the left. And then rotate to the right, and now extending to infinity there. Actually, let's bring it out one further to prevent a respawn. Except we can't. We can't prevent the respawn, so we can't salt. Can we spin it all the way back around? No. This could be problematic. Because we have to be able to... We have to bring the main thing up. I suppose we could have it facing this way and then attach a green to it. Which would mean the greens would come from this side. So this might work. So let's try this again. We'll have all sorts of things happen at the beginning. Then we grab this. We move it to the left to attach it. Then we rotate it out, which would bond it, which is no good. So we need to rotate it one more. And we'll be here, pointing this way. Now we rotate it out. It's facing that way. But we run into the same problem of trying to get salt to the other side of it. Okay, I'm gonna say, cannot be done. Oh, wait, why am I trying to just use one salt thing? Oh, right, because then I wouldn't be able to get a normal green through. So, other options. Yeah, I don't see any way of getting around it without using a piston. Using a piston, it's super easy, but using just a single arm, not going to happen. Okay. I've done enough to sleep well tonight. Have I done it with one piston yet? No, but I have no concerns regarding making that happen. Because you just put the... you put the saltifier on the outside. And you'll be good to go. Making it absolute minimum area could be mildly problematic, but I'm not too concerned. But I do need to get going. Thank you all for being here. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, solutions of your own, feel free to send them to Twitter or Discord. And I will see you in the next live stream or video of Opus Magnum or Super Mario World or Dark Souls with light.